Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to our power scanning session. It is November 15, and after we have skipped last week because I was in Germany at the World of Trading conference and I was presenting on stage at this conference while the power scanning normally takes place. Since then I've came back to Montreal. The World of Trading was a fantastic event. I met very nice people, but I'm happy to be back in Montreal and to continue with our regular schedule of the power scanning session. All right, but before we get into today's symbols and scans, let me ask you guys, where are you calling in from? Who do we have in the room today? Please put your location into the Q&A box. I can see Gerd is there from Münsterland in Germany. Hey, Gerd. And he's saying, too bad I couldn't make it to the World of Trading. No problem. Aubrey from Stable Cyprus. All right, I guess weather-wise it's stable. Oh, stable. Oh, yeah, an earthquake. That's right. Nice to have you, Aubrey. Andrea from Hamburg. Moin, moin. Wie geht's? Andreas from Mainz, near Frankfurt in Germany. Nice. We have Al from Sacramento, the capital of California. Fun fact. Daryl from San Francisco. Art from Maryland. Bad flying day. Why? Uh, Tough winds over there with which airport are you stationed over there? Fabian from Hannover. Hey, Fabian, wie geht's? Maike from Düsseldorf. Hey, Maike, nice to have you on board. Juan from Longueuil, Montreal. That's awesome. Right next to our office, Juan. That's amazing. Cool. We don't have many viewers from Montreal, our home base city, so it's nice to have you, Juan. Derek from Ontario. Hey, Derek, how's it going? Art. Oh, yeah, strong winds in in your area. Okay, yeah, bad flying weather. Crosswind landings, maybe. George from Elko, Northern Nevada. Okay, cool. Welcome, George. Devendra from Princeton, New Jersey. Hey there. Lenny from New York City. Brisk and sunny. All right. Mariola from Wien, Austria. Very nice to have you. And David is asking, how was Frankfurt? Yeah, it was amazing. I was so busy. I had 4 presentations on stage, presentations in Frankfurt, 2 on Friday and 2 on Saturday. On Friday morning, I actually did live day trading on stage, which was awesome and went really well. I hit all my trades on that day, which was fantastic. I used Liquidity IQ and MA Rush and Volume IQ to find interesting futures day trading ideas. So this was spectacular. And then I talked about swing trading afterwards. I had another session about options, and then one session about next generation trading indicators, what to expect from today's trading indicators. So maybe one day, perhaps in our lunch and learn session, I will, give you a summary of what I presented there. And we have Linda from Toronto. Hey there. Vahai from Saudi Arabia. Wow. What's the temperature over there, Vahai? Must be quite hot, I would imagine. Perfect. Anyways, guys, let's get into it. All right, so once again today, we will attempt to find interesting swing trading ideas. And just as a reminder, typically a swing trade lasts between 1 and 20 weeks. It's not written in stone. It could be a bit more. It could be perhaps only a few days, but that's typically the average duration of a swing trade. So it's not a day trade, which you would open and close within the same day. And it's also not a super long-term investment, which you perhaps would hold for your entire life. So it's right in the middle. And the cool thing is that with our dashboard and with our scanner, you will be able to find these trades very, very quickly in less than 15 minutes. We call it the 30-minute strategy because it will not take you more than 30 minutes. This live session today lasts 1 hour, give or take, but that's because I'm talking so much. But if you would just focus on finding trades and do it yourself and, got to hang off the dashboard, you will find interesting swing trade ideas very rapidly. All right. So with this, I want to quickly introduce ourselves just in case there are some newcomers today in the room. We are tradingindicators.com. My name is Daniel. I'm the guy here on the left-hand side, and together with Homa here in the middle, we have created trading indicators about 10 years ago already. And as our name suggests, we are specialized on building innovative trading indicators. That's really our bread and butter. This is where we started off from, and this is what we've done over for the most part of the last 10 years. And about 5 years into our journey, Nicholas, who's also in the room today, and he's going to be manning the chat. He has joined us about 5 years ago, and he's been instrumental in building our latest trading indicators. But of course, since we specialize on trading indicators, but we've also branched out, so to say, and we now also develop what we call trading scanners. And one such trading scanner we will be using today to find our promising swing trading setups, which may be candidates for a trade when the week starts on Monday. And of course, guys, please make this session your own. If you have any questions, don't be shy. Put your questions into the Q&A box, and Niklas will keep an eye on them, and we will bring them to my attention as we proceed. All right, perfect. So also a reminder that trading does contain risk and therefore is not suited for every investor. If you trade, make sure to only use risk capital, which is money that you actually can afford to lose. When it comes to backtest performance or hypothetical performance or really anything based on historical data, keep in mind that this is not necessarily indicative of future performance, and any trade ideas and strategies and setups discussed in this webinar should not be construed as trade advice. These are for educational purposes only. Okay, before we look at the live charts, or at the charts, I should say, the markets are closed right now, except for Bitcoin, which is very interesting right now, by the way. A couple of housekeeping items. First off, if you are new to our dashboard, or perhaps if you want to know what all the various features are all about, view our bootcamp, watch our bootcamp at tradingindicators.com/bootcamp. And Niklas, please put this link into the chat box. In this bootcamp, we detail all the features of the dashboard. There's so many features built in. In these sessions, we only can really cover maybe, I'd say, 25% of the features, but there's so many more things in there. So if you want to know what these are all about and how these tools and features could help you with your trading, check out our bootcamp. Also, we have a Discord channel, which is completely free to attend and join at tradingindicators.com/Discord. And Niklas, if you can please put these links into the chat. If not, I will do it real quick right now. 1 second. So for the bootcamp,
I'll be putting them there in a second, Daniel. No worries.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, cool. Great. Okay, thank you. And moving on, we have an ebook written on the 3 main setups that we typically consider in these live scanning sessions. And that ebook is available at tradingindicators.com/power of 3 with a dash in the middle. And also this link will be put into the chat box in just a bit. And lastly, if you guys have any ideas and suggestions on how to further improve our dashboard, and thank you all for sending us some ideas in the past, please don't be shy. Put your ideas into the Q&A box or send us an email afterwards, and we'll be happy to consider those for future versions of the dashboard. So please don't be shy with that as well. All right, now without further ado, let's get started. The market review. All right, so I'm going to switch over to our dashboard. There we go. And before we actually get into the market, I want to show you something brand new. And in fact, there'll be another feature coming out on Monday or Tuesday. So please stay tuned for that. Super excited about this. It's not quite ready yet. It's ready on our staging side, on our development side. We're just going to be doing a bit more testing. But yeah. Anyways, what is a new feature which we introduced last week? It's the reordering of columns. So now it is possible to simply drag and drop your columns to a different space. Can you see this? Yeah, for example, asset class. If I don't want it to be right next to the name of the ticker, I can just move it away to a different spot. And this will be also saved. And next time you log in, it will show up exactly on the same space. That's really cool. And it's super easy. And to enable this feature, just real quick, all you need to do is to go to the settings here, this little settings wheel in the top right corner, and enable reorder columns. This one here. All right. So once you do this, then these little 3 dots or 6 dots, in fact, will be shown next to the column, and this is where you would drag this column to a different place. So it's really cool, and this works like a charm, very smoothly. All right, so I'm going to disable it for now, just to have a bit more real estate. And let's start with our market review. Okay, what's going on? Wow. Yeah, kind of turbulent, a turbulent Friday, so to say. Huh? We gapped down in the SPY. Of course, the SPY is bullish, no question about this. But on Friday, we gapped down quite a bit. And in fact, the whole end of the last week, since Wednesday, markets have become a bit more bearish. We lost a couple of percentages here. We gapped down, but then we recovered. And in fact, on Friday, the SPY, the S&P 500 ETF, closed just a bit higher than the in the close of the previous day, I believe at least, or maybe almost at the exact same price. So what's going on right now? Well, if we look at a couple of things. First off, we do see trend radar finally, well, not finally, it's been happening more frequently in the past, but we did have a level 3 pullback. We still have it on trend radar, meaning this may be considered as a healthy pullback within an uptrend. Of course, we are on an uptrend. It's very easy to see. Prices have been going up ever since the tariffs have been somewhat resolved back in April, going up in one straight line, more or less, a few pullbacks here and there. And every time we had a pullback, like a level 3 pullback, this could have been a nice opportunity to enter or perhaps add to your SPY position. So I'm still very bullish on the SPY, and I believe at current price level, it depends where we open on Monday. This could be an interesting entry point. Perhaps if you maybe go down a little bit further, closer to the support zone, this could be a great time to enter into a long position or to add to your SPY long position. Yeah. But don't be alarmed. So far, this is just a pullback, a very healthy pullback within a very stable uptrend. What about the QQQs, the Nasdaq 100 ETF? There we go. Very similar picture. Of course, both symbols are more or less correlated. Also here, we had 3 bearish days since Wednesday. Yeah, a big bearish day on Thursday. And then on Friday, we gapped down, but we recovered towards the end of the trading day and actually closed a bit higher than the previous close. So, but also here, we do have this level 3 pullback. And we were, in fact, very close to this first MA rush line, this little green line here. You can see it here, which in the past at least has acted at times as dynamic support, where prices would bounce off from towards higher price levels. It happened here a couple of weeks ago, and then most notably on Friday, we also bounced off this level and we ended up a bit higher. But even at current price levels, I believe this could be an interesting entry level for adding on to your long position in the QQQ. All right. What about the Russell? Yeah, we said it in our newsletter on Monday that the Russell is still struggling with this very, very important resistance level here at 245. Why is it important? Well, because it's been such a long-term level. Yeah, it dates back for about 4 years. Let me just scroll back a little bit. Yeah, since 2021, November 2021, we knew about this level. Our indicator knew about this key level around 245. It's been tested in 2024 in November. Prices bounced up from it and then retested again, even broken to some degree in October this year. But prices, you can see, have not really been able to lift off this level, and we're still struggling with this key resistance level. And I would not be surprised if this will take some time to resolve, because obviously this is a key level of resistance, and prices kind of got stuck in this level. So I'm not very surprised that we see a bit of a bounce in the Russell exactly off this level in the last week. All right, what about oil? USO, the United States Oil Fund. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Yeah, I mean, if I know a sideways or see a sideways market, that's definitely one of them. Look what's going on here. Prices are just grinding up and down in a sideways fashion. Bit more momentum to the downside, but nonetheless, this is sideways. And as I mentioned many times before, until prices come to either extreme of this very broad sideways channel, either the upper extreme here on 83, 84, or down here on the 60 level, I'm not getting interested in oil. I think it's very hard to read right now. Very choppy, very sideways. I'm waiting for an extreme level to be reached. And then potentially I will then play the bounce trade off this resistance level here up top, for example, if prices come all the way up, or perhaps off support down here. But until this happens, I will stay on the sidelines. What about gold? Yeah, gold also, surprisingly a bit. We called it out in our newsletter that it seemed like on Monday when the markets opened, this pullback, this level 3 pullback that we saw here, we called it out, has been resolved. So yes, prices came back higher up. But on Thursday and then on Friday, we dropped a bit in gold. And now, if you look at trend radar here, we do see a level 1 pullback. Still very, very bullish, no question about this. But nonetheless, perhaps, I know, if prices come down a bit further on Monday, Tuesday, maybe another opportunity to enter into a long gold position, of course, in the anticipation that gold will continue to grind higher. All right. And now we have Bitcoin. Oh boy, Bitcoin is, I don't know what to say. It's it looks to me it's failing this long-term support level, which was around 103. Prices were in the vicinity. Then we closed on Monday at 999,600. And if we look at today's price action, now Bitcoin, of course, trades 24/7, doesn't close on the weekend. If you look at the live market, yeah, we can see we are hovering at around 95,000. And my prediction now, well, prediction, I mean, my yellow flag would be now, okay, we lost this level, this strong support level around 103,000, 102,000. And now, if prices cannot recover, I think the next stop might be all the way down here at 74, 75,000. So that, at least from a technical point of view, is the next level of support. And yeah, we'll see, I guess, what happens. You never know if Bitcoin is a bit all over the place, but from a technical point of view, I would not be surprised if prices keep on dropping and then the next, stopping point might be around 74, 75,000. All right. Before we now go on and review what we called out 2 weeks ago, I'm going to ask, are there any questions, Nicholas, that came up so far? No questions. Nicholas, you might be muted. Let me just see. Yeah, we're going to do symbol requests just a bit later. And Lenny wants to know what would have to happen in the SPY to change your bullish optimism. Well, lots of things. I mean, the SPY is notoriously bullish. Let me just go quickly to this one here. So from a technical point of view, multiple things would need to come together. I think the most strongest sign that we really are changing momentum in the SPY is a change of trend as per our MA Rush indicator. You can see it here. It's bullish since 2023, May 2023. That has not changed. Even the big pullback here during the tariff wars, didn't change the sentiment of the indicator. So now, of course, we are super bullish. That I think that would be one sign which I would be looking for. And of course, if we keep losing these key levels, like the support level here or this former resistance level, which would also act as support at this point because it was broken and changed its role. If we lose all these levels, maybe that these could be signs as, hey, the sentiment has changed on the SPY. But so far, yeah, no signs of this at all currently in the SPY. All right. So,
Daniel,
yes.
sorry, is it possible, Juan wants to know, is it possible to add other columns, 52-week minimum, for example?
Send us an email.
Feature
The
request.
52-week minimum would be the 52-week low. We have this already. So if you go to your column configurator, this little left button here on the left-hand side with the 3 lines, if you click on it, go all the way down to 52-week low percent. In fact, let me show this to you. You can see, for example, okay, the SPY, for example, and the way how to read it, for example, has a value here in the 52-week low percent of 39.46. What does that mean? In fact, let's talk about these two columns just for 1 minute. So 39.46% in this 52-week low percent column means that right now, with the current price being at 671.93, we are trading 39.46% above the 52-week low. And just to show it to you what that would be, so I would imagine now we're in November. So let me just go back all the way to November, give or take 2024. Just quickly make this full screen 1 second. What would be the low point? It would probably be around here. This would be November 2000. Like here. I guess that would be the low point. Maybe somewhere here. Still around 432 would be the low point in the last 52 weeks, give or take. So 433. So if you measure this, all right, if we measure this from, we're going to use my measuring tool here from 432, just go back a little bit. There we go, November here. From this point on to our point up here where price is, we get to what? We get to maybe I mismeasured it, but the way to read it, I'll double check this, is we are currently trading 39.46% above the 52-week low. Okay. Now for the high portion, it says minus, and these values are negative, and we may change this in the future, minus 5.28% for the 52-week high. This means we are currently 2.58% off the highs for the last 52 weeks. And you can see the highs being up here, we're trading a bit lower. That's 2.58%. All right. Okay. Can the SPY really go up as Bitcoin drops to 70,000? My view, yes. I mean, even though at times they seem to be correlated, but I think in the end, the SPY, of course, is a thing on its own, and Bitcoin also is a thing on its own. So I believe, yes, that's absolutely possible. Oh, I measured from November 2023. Thanks, Frank. So I guess okay, now let me just remeasure this. It would be here. I guess the low would be down here. That during the Terra Force. That's where I thought. So let me remeasure this just to prove my own point. Thanks, and that's like 39.19%, which is basically the same number. Thanks, Frank, for pointing this out. It's not always easy to talk and measure and think at the same time. So thank you so much for helping out. And Tom is saying, thank you so much for the reorder column feature. I just turned it on and it works great. Yes, we love it. And Tom, I mean, I'd love to give you guys a little preview of what's coming up next week. Maybe I should do it right now. You know, it's the weekend. We do have a bit of extra time. Let me quickly go to my staging site. 1 second, guys. I'm so excited about this. Our dev team did really good work, and this was a feature also requested by our users. And just while this loads, see, this is a bit slower than the actual live site because the server is not as powerful. There we go. Okay, look at this. And I hope it's working. If not, I'll show it to you later on. Let's say we want to do the following. And I'm just going to make something up. Let me just put the sectors on. And perfect. So let's say we have a filter on for the sector. Let's say we're interested maybe in, I don't know, financial stocks and let's put another stock up here, healthcare stocks for whatever reason. So I have two filters on. I'm only seeing the healthcare stocks and the financial stocks. And now let's say we want to sort the sector. Maybe I want to, look at all the financial stock first, and then later on the healthcare stocks. So all financials are listed first. And now what you can do, let's say, okay, I want to see within the financial services stocks, which is sorted here by alphabetically, I want to see the stocks with the highest price. So I also want to sort price as a secondary criteria. So our first criteria for sorting is the alphabetical sorting of the sector. And the second sorting criteria would be price. What you can do is you can hit down your control key. I'm doing it right now, and click on the price column. And you see this now, there's a little 2 next to price. So right now, we sorted the sectors alphabetically, and so I clicked on it once, we sorted as the second criteria price in an ascending order from lowest to highest. But now if I click control again on this button, now I reversed it. So alphabetically and sector and price from highest to lowest. So multiple sorting. And you can even add a third criteria to it and a fourth and so forth. So we're going to go through some use cases of this in the next week, most likely, or whenever it's completely ready. But that's what's going to be out there in just a bit. And that is saying nice. Yeah, I like it. Okay, but back to the main site. Okay, a little detour. Okay, so now I would like to look at our picks from 2 weeks ago. So as you know, every time we are having these scanning sessions, I am creating a watch list for you. And the one from last week was the one down here from November 1st, because we skipped last week. And these were the tips or the picks that we had. And for the most part, they worked out beautifully. Let me just find the ones which worked out great, and then we look at the ones which perhaps didn't work out so well, which of course is possible. So let's look at Hilton. And in fact, Hilton, I also called it out in my World of Trading conference. What a symbol that is. Look at this. Very reliable Hilton. We called out this trade down here when Hilton was right at the support level. That was our pick from 2 weeks ago. And the idea was, okay, we're going to bounce off the support level towards the upper end in between support and resistance. And what happened? Prices went all the way up to resistance and then bounced off this level again towards the middle. Beautiful. That worked out like a charm. That's exactly the essence of our bounce trade, where you anticipate, okay, prices will not be able to penetrate this level. Instead, they will bounce off this level towards higher price levels. So that worked nicely. Okay, so and then we also had oh yeah, IAK, the iShares US Insurance ETF. What a move that was. Also here we called it out. Same thing, rinse and repeat, bouncing off key support, and this is exactly what happened. Prices powered much higher since then. This would have been a beautiful trade as well. Same for the ECC Bank Limited, an Indian stock. Yeah, here we called it out. I believe at this level we went a bit lower, then also bounce of support towards higher price levels. Uh, the Before Pay Group, this was a different setup, an Australian stock featuring at the time a zone break retrace setup. This is what we called it down here. Prices went higher up off this resistance level, which is acting as support. And perhaps another German stock here for our German users, Allianz. A beautiful move higher. Look at this. This is exactly what the essence of that trade is. This bounce trade. Prices bounced off this support level, or Allianz as we call it. Prices bounced higher. And where did they go to? All the way to this key resistance level. And we had a bit of a bearish bounce there on Friday. I really like this setup because we also had a gap to be filled here, which was filled in those days. Jacob Solutions, another one. This one, it's still pretty much where it was. We came a bit lower on Friday, but then recovered. So nothing really happened here. And the only setup really which didn't work out as good was MSI Motorola Solutions. Here I thought, okay, we're gonna bounce. Where were we on that day? I guess around here. Yeah, we're gonna bounce off this level. But I warned you as well, if you take this trade and we have these multiple levels of support here, one here, and one here. Typically, if you have many levels nearby, it's often the lowest one, which is the most powerful one. We'll see what will happen, but you know, this is the one which so far did not work out. But overall, I believe a pretty good performance. And Juan, to answer your question, what is the mathematical calculation of beta? Um, beta is always a measure of how volatile the stock is compared to its index. So if it's below one, it means it's less volatile than the index. If it's more than one, it's more volatile. Uh, and But this is given to us by our data providers. So I'm not exactly sure what the exact calculation is, but it's a measure of volatility compared to the overarching index. All right. But of course, guys, we're not here to gloat about past performance. That's in the past, anyways. Today we are here to find interesting setups for the next week or the next 2 weeks. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna quickly go back to my slides, is we're gonna look for these setups, and our process will be as follows. We're gonna look at one setup at a time. Mainly today, we're gonna be looking at our long bounce setup where we're bullish and we're bouncing off a support level. We're also going to look at our zone break retrace setup. So we're going to look at all these different setups. Based on what we see, we are creating a watch list, which I will be sharing with you. And then at the end, I'm going to go through the stocks in that watch list to pick the ones which, speak to me the most. Sounds good? Let's get into it. All right. So the first setup, which I'm really interested in, is a bounce setup within a healthy uptrend or a strong uptrend. So, for example, we have a stock which has been trending up for quite some time. In my book, the longer it's been trending up, the better it is. So we do have a long-term uptrend, and we can scan for this. We can find very easily with our dashboards all the stocks which have been in a long uptrend. Yeah, it's just a click in the dashboard. All right, so that's a precondition. But then, of course, as a trend trader, there are good moments to get into a trade, and there are not so good moments. And typically, what I don't like to do, this is why I said it for so many weeks and months that I don't want to go long gold because it's so extended. There might be a pullback coming. Well, it finally came, and I personally don't want to enter when we are so extended, when prices are very far away from its averages. And one way to tell whether we are extended or not is to look at this indicator down here. If it's all green, like in this area here, green, 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 it means typically prices are extended. They're trading above their moving averages. Yeah. What I like to wait for is when trend radar has this little red area here, yeah, which creeps in. These are pullbacks within an uptrend. And oftentimes these are very interesting long entry opportunities. So I'm waiting for these pullbacks patiently. Yeah. But since we're scanning through 6,000 something stocks or 5,800 stocks, in fact, there's always a stock at least on any given day which has an interesting pullback setup. And then ideally, I would like to see a stock where the pullback coincides with a key support level. You can see it here where price actually pulled back towards a key support level. Because then we have two things in our favor, or three things in our favor. We are long-term trending up, we corrected a bit to the downside, and this correction coincides with a key support level. That's what I'm looking for. That's going to be the first scan that will be running right now. And Ashok, I already talked about ECC Bank. I said it's a nice it worked out quite nicely. So we just covered this yeah a couple of minutes ago. It bounced off nicely off this key support level. All right. Okay. So now let me go back to our scanner. There we go. And you can see here we're scanning right now through 5,844 stocks. Now let's enter our criteria. And criteria number one, just quickly hide some of these columns here real quick. Criteria number one is that we want to see a stock which is in a long-term uptrend. And this is given to us by our MA Rush indicator. So this indicator here on the price chart, just pick a nice symbol, maybe this one, yeah, which shows to us whether we are currently bearish or bullish. And what I'd like to see, because we're looking for a long entry when it comes to stocks typically, I would like to see a stock which is currently bullish. So what I then can do is I go to my MA Rush column here, and I click on the filter icon to the right of it, this one here, and select bullish. Once I do it, this is like in the blink of an eye, very fast, I can see that off from our 5,844 stocks, currently 3,446 stocks are bullish. You can see every single arrow for every stock here is pointing upwards. It's green, and we have a number next to it. And this number is the trend duration. So for example, here for Alcoa, a steel company, we can see, okay, Alcoa right now is bullish for 19 trading days. And if I count the candles all the way from here back to this label, guess which number I will get? Yes, 19. So what I can then do is I can sort by trend duration by clicking on this column here. I can sort, for example, here from highest to lowest. And the stock which has been bullish the longest is actually AutoZone. Look at this one here. AZO, bullish for 2,230 trading days. Wow. Also pulled back a little bit lately. You can see it here. Yeah. But it's a very bullish stock and currently in the pullback. And of course, when we were, and I think we picked this up in our scanner, I believe we had this one. Why didn't I call this out? It doesn't matter. We picked it up here, AutoZone, where it came down to our support level. With the liquidity capture, this would have been the moment to potentially enter into the long trade of AutoZone. Of course, a stock which is extremely expensive, $3,442 at that point for a single stock. We bounced off nicely, but would I enter right now into a long trade here? Probably not, because of this green area here for this particular stock. We are right at a resistance level. And resistance, of course, is called resistance for a reason. It means it may prevent price, at least temporarily, from moving higher, and price may bounce off this level towards lower price levels. So it's resistance. Okay, just another example. Let's pick Costco. Yeah, I know Costco was on our list for a long time. Costco right now is in what we call a magnet zone, which is, let me just quickly go a bit further back here. Yeah, Costco is in a magnet zone, meaning it's in between, or you may say it's quite close to support here, but it's, given the thresholds that our indicators are using, it's still in between support and resistance, like in the middle of it. Yeah, somewhat in the middle. It's a bit closer to support and definitely an interesting idea, but from our scanning point of view, it's still what we call the magnet zone, which is right kind of in the center, in between support and resistance. Maybe one more example, Casey's General Stores Inc. It's in the magnet zone for 9 trading days. And now this is a better example. Look how center prices are, or the price is in between support and resistance up here. This is what we call the magnet zone. But of course, what we want to find today is the prices are really close to its support level. And we can scan for this by going to our Liquidity IQ setup column here. So Liquidity IQ is the indicator which prints these support zones and these resistance zones onto the chart. We can go to this Liquidity IQ setup column, and we can select long bounce. And long bounce means, okay, we are bouncing off a support level. I'm going to do this and let's see what comes up. So the first one which we see here is SNX, Stone X Group. It was our trade of the day a while back. Uh, it's not my favorite setup, to tell you the truth. Yes, the stock has been bullish for 1,373 trading days, but this support level, this red line, he has been broken in the past. Not by much, just a bit, but it was broken nonetheless, and now we came back up to it. Not the cleanest setup. I'm going to skip it for the next week, even though you know one may argue. Actually, you know what? Now that I look at it a bit closer, what do we see here just by doing some additional technical analysis? Yeah, I see a series of higher lows. You can see it here. Low, low, low. Also, if you look kind of want to imagine there's also a series of higher highs. And you know what? I changed my mind. I do like it. I'm gonna add this one to our list for next week because this seems to me, just by doing some additional technical analysis, as an ascending trend channel. We are at the lower end of this channel, which, of course, as a trend trader, is always a nice opportunity to enter into a long trade. You don't want to enter at the top end, you want to enter at the lower end of your trend channel. So let me go to my watch list. In fact, I'm going to create a new watch list for you. All right, so weekly swing trades, column 2025 11/15. That's today's date. I created and I will add SNX group to this watch list. And I will also now go to my admin tool here and I will share this watch list with you with this button here. This is a feature which I only have. And I will unshare the watch list from October 4th. So that way you always have the last 5 watch lists in your account. Perfect. Okay, so SNX group, a long bounce of a support level. Next one, WW Granger Inc. All right. Yeah, I just zoom out a little bit here. Yeah, we can also state we are at a key support level within a nice stable uptrend. I like it. Yeah, I will also add this stock here. Similar scenario, we came down to a key support level. Now, the only thing here, and this is something I mentioned before in these sessions, we have this level here where we're bouncing off from right now, but underneath we also have this level here at 893. So if we have 2 levels nearby, in my view, in my experience, oftentimes it's the lower level, which is the more important one. So if you trade this one, just make sure you have your stop loss a bit lower than the second level. But nonetheless, an interesting setup. We're going to add it as well to our watch list. All right. Uh, the SNL.AX Supply Network, an Australian stock. Not sure if you have any Australians in the room today. I guess the time difference is it's too much. I'm not sure what time it would now be in Australia. Probably in the middle of the night. Look at this one here. We came down. Let me just quickly go to the full screen view. We came down almost to the cent, down to this key support level. And what happened? We bounced off nicely off this level. An interesting one nonetheless. I will probably skip it just because not many people trade Australian stocks in our room. But nonetheless, yeah, something to consider for you out there. CITAS, the Cintas Corporation. Yeah, also here, a big retracement. It's long-term bullish, 1,358 trading days. We really came down hard from this all-time high around 228.29 down to the support level at 181. You know, it's definitely available right now at a discount. Yeah, and we had this one in the past before. I will skip it just because I think it feels to me a bit like a falling knife. And this downtrend or this downwards move, it's been going on a bit too long for my taste. We're 18% off our all-time highs. Because of this, I'm gonna skip it for this week. We have other ones to come. Rush Enterprises. All right, what do we see here? Wow, what a move down. From almost the all-time highs here. We lost almost 20%, 19.66%. Came down to this key support level. Yeah, we also had earnings coming up. I guess this caused this downtrend here. I'm gonna skip this one too, for the same reason. It feels to me a bit like a falling knife, to be caught, even though it's definitely, if you want to give it a shot, this would be the level to do it. But at the minimum, I would like to see some signs that we have some bullish action on Monday. So I'll leave it up to you. And then we have SNA, the Snap-on Incorporated. All right. What do we have here? This one is interesting. Let me just quickly zoom out a little bit to see what's going on here. Yeah, it's a bit all over the place. Look at these patterns here. We make it high, big retracement, and we grind up again. Eventually, we break the resistance level high again, retracement, retracement. Probably it will take some time to get out of this consolidation. Uh yeah. Uh Interesting. And Aubrey is saying S-Nex was the trade of the yeah, okay, we're gonna get to this in a second, Aubrey. I'm a bit hesitant today. Why? Because I did these scans before and I know what's coming up on one of our other scans. I want to be more selective on these bounce scans. I'm going to skip this one as well because the next scan we're going to run is definitely one that you want to see. So let me just move on. I'm not going to go through all these stocks here. You know how easy it is to find uh yeah, these setups. Dalrymple also potential interesting stock here, Australian stock. But you can see how easy it is to go through this list on your own. Because what I want to do now is I want to run my second scan. And before we do this, Nicholas, are there any questions for this particular scan? Uh, yeah, Lenny, falling knife versus long bound. It's really difficult to see the difference. I agree. It's a bit of a, you have to like feel it in your fingers with what that is. But
No,
yeah,
was I
Nicholas,
entirely muted or you heard me?
I didn't hear you before.
Sorry, okay, I said no. We don't have any questions about the exact scan. Yeah, we do have those comments from Lenny, and we have symbol requests for later.
Yes,
We
perfect.
have one from Lenny here. He says, so many stocks that we look at already broke the resistance. Could you comment on that behavior and how to interpret that?
Oh, that broke resistance to the upside. Let me just quickly see. Where's the Uh, well, let's get to this, Lanny, because right now the next scan that we will be using is actually for exactly this scenario where, let me just quickly go back to my slides, where we actually did break a key level, like a support level, or perhaps the resistance level. And what happens then? Because, nothing will last forever. Stocks will never, there's no stock which will, alternate between two key levels forever. That's probably not possible. Eventually, they will be broken. That's part of the game. So, but when this happens, new opportunities for us are opening up again. For example, if let's say support is broken, one could anticipate, okay, we're going to move further down in the direction of the breakout, in this case, the bearish level. Or when resistance is broken, I think this is what you're referring to, Lenny. If resistance is broken to the upside, we can trade this as well. We could trade the breakout trade. Well, prices may continue to grind higher after this initial break of this resistance level. But with one caveat, this, you can see it here. Oftentimes, the market tries to, in quotes, fake you out, meaning, initially it goes up, but then it stops. And the reverses, you can see it here, reverses back down towards the broken resistance level. And this setup, we call this the zone break retrace setup. And I personally love this setup because prices come down all the way back to the former resistance level, which at this point, of course, will act as support. Changed its role. Support has become resistance has become support, and this could be or can often be a launch pad for the actual move higher up. So let's see how we can find this setup. So, and Linda wants to know, how do you get the full screen chart? Actually, various ways, Linda, to do it. You can either click this button here, the full screen mode, to get it completely full screen, or if you still want to have these drawing tools on the left-hand side and still want to go full screen, what you can go to the settings here and enable, one second, resize panels, this option here. So you can click on it. And once you do it, this little center bar, you can see this one, this little gray bar appears. So let me just switch it off. It's gone. This gray bar, I switch it back on, it's back up. And then you can use that bar to drag or make the chart bigger. For example, like this. It's kind of a full screen mode. Of course, it's not full screen, but it's definitely bigger. And this one has the advantage that you do have these drawing tools here on the left-hand side.
Uh,
Uh, yes.
Daniel, can you please go to BTC USD? We have a comment from Gerald. Why is it not updating since November 13th? Maybe it didn't update since Thursday.
Oh, it didn't. Oh, actually, we had that issue before. Yeah, thank you for that, Gerald. That's right. It didn't update. That's an issue we saw with all the cryptos. It's related to our data provider, which skipped for some reason data for Friday. We are currently investigating that and it will be fixed, Gerald. Yes. Thank you so much for reminding me. That's actually on our to-do list.
Thanks.
Thank you.
And Daniel, on these zone break retrace setups or perhaps bounces, John wants to know where would you generally place a stop?
Yeah,
Could you
we'll
tell us?
discuss it now. Let's look at some concrete examples and we'll discuss where we would place the stop and the target. Okay, so how can we find these setups? Well, it's actually quite easy. I still want the stock to be overall bullish, so I'm going to keep my Emmy Rush bullish filter on it. So these are our 3,446 stocks, which are currently bullish. And then what I like to do is I like to find stocks like this one here. Let me just find a good one if I like Chemical, where it says long break retrace. Look at this one. I mean, Chemical was this was one of our highlight trades. A couple of weeks ago, we called it out. When was it? On October 18, where Chemical came down uh, from the all-time highs around 98 or whatever it was. It came all the way down to our entry level. This was here. So we came down here, and then we completely went up. Yeah, made an all-time high, which was beautiful to 107,000. But now we came back down again. And to me, that this stock, even though we just had it recently, has a good chance to become our stock pick of the week on Monday. Why? Because it's the picture perfect zone break retrace setup. Why? Well, let me show you. So we did break above resistance here. You can see zone break, it's labeled out. So at this bar here, we broke above this green line, which is resistant. We came up, came down to the broken resistance label. It was the perfect setup also here for a long trade. We called it out. Huge move up. I believe they had, or something must have happened to drive price up. Uh, at this point, came up mid all-time highs, but now we're retracing once again. And to where? Well, exactly once again to this former resistance level. So which is now acting as support. So I like this setup a lot. And this is definitely going to go to our list today as the classic zone break retrace setup. And if I were to play this, I mean, Cameco is a long-term bullish stock for 1,378 trading days. It's a stock which I wouldn't mind having in my portfolio anyways. So these kind of stocks, I definitely would place my stop loss a bit further away, maybe around this support level here at 68. Just give it a bit more time, bit more room to work out, which is the lower end of this Emmy Rush line as well. So around 68, just because that's a stock I think which, strategically from a long-term perspective has definitely a lot of bullish potential. Okay, so let me just add this one quickly to our list. Okay, so I kind of stumbled over this stock just by looking at what's written here in our column, so long break retrace. But of course, we can also filter for these setups. And all we need to do is to click on the filter here next to our Liquidity IQ setup column and select long break retrace. And once I do this, we can see that of our 5,844 stocks, only 54 stocks are currently in this setup. So it's very, very specific. I'm going to show you another trick how to filter this even further down. Because what you see here, lots of these hits are kind of, these are UK ETFs mirroring the S&P 500s. For example, this one here, maybe not something we want to see over and over again in our list. So what I like to do here, I like to use the currency column, see this one here, and just focus on the US stocks, on stocks traded in USD. Yeah. Of course, if you're interested in the UK stocks, you can keep it on. But for now, let's just focus on the US stocks. So now we're down to 31 stocks only. And the first one that comes up, not a big surprise, is Chemical Corp. That's right here. Beautiful setup. I believe that has a good chance to become our trade of the week on Monday. But there are more. The next one, the Ensign Group. Bullish for 1,324 trading days. We broke resistance here, came up, and now down to the broken level, which could be an interesting long entry scenario. So definitely also one for our list. So we have this one. The Hamid Aerospace Inc. Let's check it out. Yep. Similar here. I would like prices to come down a bit further. I wouldn't enter right now at the current levels. I probably would wait if prices come down perhaps towards this price level. We're a bit off this level here, and then look into for a potential long entry. But nonetheless, an interesting one. Adding this one. And the Curtis Wright Corporation, CW, also in the long break retrace setup. Yeah, beautiful. Long-term bullish stock for 1,221 trading days. You can see it here. Look at this strong uptrend. Oh my goodness. Very beautiful. I hope prices will come down a bit further. Oh, in my view, we're a little bit too far off. No, it's definitely also here an interesting opportunity to go long. But if we go even a bit further down, maybe to this price levels, this could make the setup even better. Let's see what happens there. And we just add this one. And then we also have IBM. Ah, IBM is bullish for 1,158 trading days. Wow. And also IBM made all-time highs. All these classic stocks made all-time highs last week on November 12th. On, when was it? On Wednesday. Yeah. And we came back down. Where did we stop? Exactly at this broken resistance level. Just be mindful here that IBM will have earnings fairly soon coming out. But nonetheless, that's an interesting one as well to consider. So let me add IBM as well to our list. Oops, there we go. I have to clean up these lists at some point. Okay, and you can see how easy it is. Like we could even go further down this list here to find interesting zone break retrace setups. All right, perfect. Let me see if there are any questions. If I have
So
my
we
list,
don't have. Oh, go
yeah.
ahead.
Oh, I just was reading Juan's question there. Juan was saying, if I have a list of stocks in Excel, can I import these into the application? Yes, so Juan, absolutely. There is an import feature here. If you go all the way, if you go to this drop down here, end of day scanner, and Juan, please also watch our bootcamp. The link is in the chat. What you can do is you can click on import here. This will allow you to import from a CSV file, which is a specific type of Excel file. You can save every Excel spreadsheet as CSV. And the only condition for this is that in the very first column in Excel, in column A, the symbol tickers need to be listed. And if that's the case, then these ones will be imported into the dashboard
And
or
we have a
into a
question.
watch list. Yeah.
Do we have any training in French? We don't currently, right, Daniel?
En français, uh, who's asking this question? Is it
On.
is Juan from Longueuil? Yeah, not at the moment. Uh, but our boot camp and all these things, these are available on Vimeo and YouTube. And with today's AI tools, I think it's fairly easy to have it auto-translated. Uh, Perhaps something, Nicholas, maybe take a note of this, what we could, it's actually a very good point. Maybe we can come up with a nice process of having these at least auto-translated to a different language. Good point.
Do the blue trend lines attached to the chart automatically? I'm not sure if this is in reference to something you drew or MA Rush.
Yeah, no, that was for what was the first. Actually, in fact, let's go through our list of symbols that we picked for this week. And the first one that we did is Stone X, and I believe these had the trend lines on. Yeah, these ones. No, I drew them manually, so that's something I drew. Drawing trend lines is highly subjective. Everybody has a different theory of how these should be drawn. All I wanted to do is to show basically that we are making higher lows and somewhat higher highs along the way. So this is definitely a bullish setup. The fact that we're at the lower end of this, trend line here, of this trend channel, that makes an interesting setup. Yeah.
You and okay, the rest is symbol request. Juan says there are some small circles at the
Yeah.
bottom of the radar screen. What do they mean?
Yeah, these are uh we call this trends aligned circle. Juan, check out the boot camp. I can't
I'll
go too
post the link
much.
once again in the chat.
Yeah, we'll post the link, Juan. It's explained there. I can't I mean it's yeah, it's explained there. That's easy. Okay. Aubrey said answered. Okay, cool. Whatever the question was. Perfect. All right. Now, let's review quickly. Oops, where were we? Quickly what we had picked, and let's find the most interesting one. Let me start with Comico. I love it. I think that's a great setup. Definitely, yeah, something to consider when the market opens, depending, of course, where we open on Monday. But I think this one has a lot of potential for an interesting trend entry, especially of the pullback that we've seen. We're at 23% off the highs. So that's a big move. And if we are assuming, okay, the uptrend will continue, there's a lot of potential in that move to make a nice percentage gain. So let me add this one Comico, add a new trade note here, and I'm going to add the screenshot of today's chart to this trade note. Done. Okay, moving on. Stone X Group. You know what? I do like it. I will stick to it. I will add this one also to our hot list for Monday just because this trend channel is ascending. We're at the low end. I like it. And the cool thing is if you add a new trade note to your journal, all the drawings, like these trend lines here, which I had manually drawn, these will be kept if you add the screenshot to it. That's pretty cool. WW Granger, long bounce setup. I'm going to skip this one. Um, you know, Lenny said, how can you distinguish between a falling knife and a long bounce? Of course, prices need to come down for prices to bounce off support. It's a precondition for this. But you're right. It smells a bit bearish here. And here we have the case where, if you look a bit closer, we do have a series of lower highs here. You can see it here. That's a bearish pattern. If you look at this, that kind of looks like a descending triangle. Yeah. And oftentimes that's a bearish sign, and we may break the support level towards lower price levels. And a good example of this, where we also warned from it, was the German telecommunication stock. Let me just quickly see if I still have it, just to show you. I'm going to come back to my watch list in a second. DTE, this one here, I drew it here. Yeah, look at this. Classic example of a descending triangle. Even though we were at support, this is not the most bullish setup. It's a long-term bullish stock, but descending triangle, what happened? The support level didn't hold. We broke below it. It's kind of the same setup now where was it? With, one second, with WW Granger. Okay, let's move on. The Ensign Group, long break retrace. I like it. Nice level 3 pullback, definitely on the list for next week. We have a screenshot here. By the way, this was one of our trades back in April 27th this year, where prices were around 120. Well, I don't know where they were, 120. Now we're trading at 177. Would have been a great trade to take back then. So let's add a new trade note here for the Ensign Group. Nice zone break retrace setup. Okay. Howmet
Linda?
Aerospace. Yes.
Sorry, really possible, Linda. Can you search by NASDAQ only? Yep, there's a column for that.
Well, yeah, we can. I'll show it in a second. Let me just continue with these symbols. This one here, I'm going to wait. I like prices to come down a bit closer to this entry level here. So I'm going to stay on the sidelines. We're a bit too far away from this broken resistance level. And then Curtis Wright Corporation, CW. Yes. Also here, I would like prices to come down a bit further. Yeah, but it's definitely an interesting setup. We're currently only 9% off the all-time highs. So it's kind of a shallow retracement, which is, it's quite shallow, but nonetheless an interesting long trade. And look how smooth things have been going up here in the past. Yeah, it's a very bullish stock. So let's add this one to our watch list, or to our hot list for Monday. Okay. And finally, actually, let me just quickly see something here. Oh, I scrolled back. I only removed the screenshot again. 1 second. The way with these screenshots is it takes into account what you currently see on your chart. Since I scrolled back, let me go to the most recent price action to make this a bit more appealing. And now add the screenshot here. So CW, add the screenshot, which is more, centered on the current price action. Perfect. And lastly, IBM. International Business Machines. I think I'm going to skip it because it's a bit too bouncy for me. Look at how big these moves are, kind of up and down quite a bit. I'm not too convinced that this level will hold, or maybe we see more of a deeper bounce off this level to lower price levels. Let's skip this one. And I think what we have right now, the 4 or 5 good stocks or picks for next week, it's pretty decent already. All right. Great. Okay, so now let's go on to symbol requests. And Nicholas, do we have any other questions that came in?
Let me check right here. 1 second. I think we just had one.
And what was the question you asked before, which I wanted to show? I completely.
Oh, about scanning just for NASDAQ symbols,
Oh,
perhaps?
yes. Yeah, we have several predefined watch lists in our list here. So, for example, we have one for the Nasdaq 100. The whatever would be in the QQQs. We have that, the 101 stocks. But what you can also do, if you want to go a bit broader, not just the Nasdaq 100, you can enable the exchange column in your dashboard. That's this one here. And in there, we have listed all the Nasdaq exchanges that you may be interested in. And you can just select those ones. And once you do this, you have all the Nasdaq stocks. Yeah, that's possible.
We have a question from Lenny. Should we be doing these scans on a daily basis, or is that too much info to be considering?
No, daily basis, absolutely. Yeah. Whenever new market data comes in, so the stock market closes 5 times a week. So Friday close was yesterday. So today we're doing the scan based on Friday's data, and then the next close will be after Monday close. So either Monday night or evening, or Tuesday morning will be the next scan, and then once again on Tuesday and so forth and so forth. Absolutely. And the cool thing is that every single day you see some really cool stocks which have a really promising setup. So that's why we call this the 30-minute scan or strategy because it doesn't take long. And why not find an interesting idea every single day? Yeah, maybe just pick the most promising one. Pick the diamond in the rough every time, the one that speaks to you the most, like Comico speaks to me today the most. Maybe that's the one I'm gonna trade on Monday because that's the most promising one. There's no need to trade all the 5 or 6 setups which we found today. We just pick one.
Do notes need to be turned on to view the
Yeah,
existing notes?
yeah.
Yes.
You have to go here to this settings icon and enable trade notes.
And finally, last one for symbols. If we bounce off of support 3 times, is that a clue of something?
The rule of three, huh, as per Johnny Seville. You know, I don't know if three is the number to go with, or if it's a different number. But the way I see it, the more a stock tests, and Bitcoin was a good example of this. Let's go to Bitcoin here. The more a stock or a symbol tests a key support level, like here, we tested it here, came down, we tested it here again. Eventually, it breaks. Yeah, like hammering with an ice pick on a frozen pond. The more you do it, eventually it will break. I think it's the same for technical levels. The more they are being tested, the weaker they will get, and eventually they will break. Whether it's free or maybe a different number, I wouldn't know.
Okay, so the first symbol, Daniel,
Yeah.
is from Devendra, IREN, IREN.
Oh,
And
yes.
what do you have in mind for an entry price?
Yeah, long break. This stock is trading definitely above. Let me just hide the exchange column here in the currency. Definitely above its resistance level. It broke resistance 58 trading days ago. Oh, that's interesting. Let me just quickly have a closer look. Yeah, I
Is
kind
one
of
of the
like it.
quantum stocks that you pointed out at the webinar
I'm not sure if it was
in
that
March?
one, but yeah, it's definitely an interesting one. I like it. Yeah, level 4 pullback on trend radar. We are long-term bullish. We just filled this little gap here, this up gap. I don't see any other significant gaps below. So yeah, this even right now could be an interesting entry level buy when. I like it.
Next one is SNEX.
Oh, StoneX, we had that one, I think. Yeah,
Oh, okay. We
yeah,
already looked at
that's
it. Okay. The next one then is MSTR.
micro strategy. All right, or strategy, how it's called right now. Yeah, this one is going down, just like Bitcoin is going down. I don't know. I personally would stay away from it. That to me looks like a falling knife, like going down. And with the weakness in Bitcoin, and if we assume Bitcoin might be going down to all the way to 70,000, I think this stock will suffer. So I would not entertain a bullish trade here. Maybe a
What do you
bearish trade. I mean, if you think bearish is a bullish, Bitcoin is going down further. We just lost support here in strategy. I think this one could potentially go down to the bearish side. Maybe a put option could be an interesting idea.
what do you think of CCJ? So Aubrey says it was a profitable trade the week of October 21st We're right now back at buy price 4 weeks later after a decent profit taking for the
Yeah,
earnings. Have another
yeah,
go, given that there is a long for pullback and a zone break retrace and a dividend
totally. Yeah,
coming up.
absolutely. Yeah, I like it. I think Aubrey already said it's been answered by my comments on Cameco before, but yeah, it's I like it a lot. Mhm.
Okay.
Rinse and repeat, Aubrey, is the key word.
Can we look
Yeah.
at ENSG?
E and the Ensign Group. Yeah, we did. It was also one of our
Okay.
lists. Yeah.
BWW?
And by the way, Mike, Nicholas, here, there's something off of your microphone. It might be
Oh,
which
is
we
it better now?
not no, not yet. I think
No,
it's a
not
bit
sure what it is.
it doesn't matter. Yeah. Which one was it?
GWW?
Yeah, I think we had that one too. Mhm.
Okay. Calm down. Maybe we have new ones. Oh, can you review Tesla, please, for Wahaj?
Yeah. We called out Tesla. I definitely called out Tesla at the World of Trading for those of you who were there, but I also know we did discuss it a couple of weeks ago that we are nearing a key resistance level. And look what happened here. A beautiful the bounce of resistance. We came all the way up here. I was warning people at the World of Trading, maybe if you're considering longs in Tesla, this level would not be the best one because we were right at resistance. Look where we bounced down to this resistance level below. And now I think things are more interesting, potentially for a bounce in Tesla. Maybe if prices come down a bit further, it could get very interesting. Yeah, I like Tesla for the long side, especially since we bounced at this level here already. Yep.
Thank you. And then the last one here from Al, or the next one is DFEN. It's an ETF.
DFEN. Oh, we don't have that one. Let me take a note of this, Nicholas, too. We can edit DFEN. Let me go to trading view here. The Direction Daily Aerospace and Defense ETF. Oh, that's all. Okay, let's have a quick look. Yeah, I like it for a long break retrace. Where do you find this one? Love it. Great setup. Definitely, really going to add the symbol to our dashboard. And by the way, guys, if you're missing symbols in the dashboard, we can add those ones on demand. Simply send me a note. Yeah,
Next symbol is BMNR.
yeah. Okay, BMNR, Bitmine. Yeah, I guess if the crypto's going down, that one is suffering right now too. Yeah, it's a bit hard. This one is hard to analyze from a technical point of view, just because there's so little data available. Hard to make a call there, Barry, from a technical point of view. So if Bitcoin, the decline in Bitcoin drags down Ethereum, I believe this is an Ethereum-based ETF, and this one probably will go down as well. So I'll be careful. But of course, we are way off our highs here at 159. So if this one recovers, I think there's a lot of potential to the upside, but will be more from a speculative point of view.
Okay. And Linda, please have a look. Linda wants to know, what do all the green dots represent? I
Yeah.
posted a link to our boot camp where everything's explained, all the visuals.
Yeah, this is our trends align indication, Linda. Uh, it's you can even scan for this, but check out the bootcamp where we covered this one in detail.
And the next symbol request is from Olga, ONDS.
Yeah,
And at the
and
same time, Daniel, Wahaj wanted to know, does this work on intraday trading?
not so much because it's really based on of end of day data. So this is really more for swing trading and longer term investments. Yeah.
The
Okay.
indicators themselves, the individuals
Oh,
definitely
oh, the
for intraday
indicators up
trading,
absolutely. Yeah, we take them, use them
not
all
the
the time
benchmark.
for day trading. So we just had a day trading or live trading workshop on Wednesday where we used Liquidity IQ and Mirage, and I think we also tried Radar and Volume IQ, another indicator, to pick interesting day trades. Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Okay.
ONDS?
Link to bootcamp. That's in the chat, John. If you go to the chat in your Zoom window, there's a link there for the bootcamp. It's tradingindicators.com/bootcamp. Okay, ONDS. All right. Oh, we don't have ONDS. Let me just quickly see what that one is. ONDS. Okay. Yeah, this one would be kind of in the magnet zone. It's definitely bullish. We pulled back off the highs here towards, didn't really get there towards this broken resistance level. Now we're kind of a bit higher. Definitely, I have a bullish outlook for it. but just be aware that we do have resistance that PY prices bounced off nicely before. Look at this key resistance level. Wow, it's the long-term resistance level all the way from 2022. We bounced off it. We had earnings a couple of days ago. Nothing really happened there. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting for a move higher, but of course it could also move all the way down to this level at 340. So it's kind of a more speculative stock. Yeah, and Al, it's recorded. It's already on our YouTube page. What you can do if you want to find our YouTube page, go to tradingindicators.com/YouTube, and it will redirect you to our YouTube page. And yeah, we have it right. We have it right here with this beautiful picture of me. Live futures trading. That's the recording from Wednesday. And there's one thing from Aubrey. He's wondering, what about Stone Co. STNE? Let's have a look. STNE. It's a bullish stock currently level 4 pullback. Let's see what's going on there. Let's have a look. Yeah, um, I like it too. Yeah, level 4 pullback. It's bullish since June 2025, June this year. Let me just see what happened before that. Definitely having long-term resistance here. Yeah, for a bounce off this level, I think it's interesting, Aubrey. Yeah, could be definitely an interesting idea, especially since here it doesn't really feel like a falling knife. And what I like about this one, that's a good point, is this gap here. It hasn't been filled yet. That's a down gap. And yeah, there's probably a good chance that this gap will get filled over time. I like it.
Okay, and yes, this session is on our YouTube. ONDS expanded its services into defense. Is the boot camp one video or several videos?
Just one
Asa
long
saw a
video.
video where Nicholas narrated Liquidity View. It's one video, right, Daniel, you said?
Yeah, the bootcamp on the scanner is just one long video. Yeah. And Masha, send me a note to if there's anything you are getting confused about by email, and I can send you some other links if you like.
The next symbol, Daniel, is AFRM.
Yeah, Affirm, exactly. I already have it here.
Oh,
Yeah, it's nice. It's a long-term bullish stock. Of course, Affirm is in the space of borrowing money. I mean, if you believe in seasonality, Christmas coming up. People probably want to buy gifts. Maybe that's a stock which could benefit from this. In fact, this is something we will be adding soon as well to our dashboard of seasonality. So yeah, if you think, I don't know, I'm just guessing you know, if you look a little bit here, if that stock is seasonally strong, maybe it is. You could imagine potentially a move further upwards, but just be aware that we do have um, a resistance level here at around 82, 83.
Lenny says STNE is not a falling knife, but isn't it also a bear flag?
Because of the gap down, I mean, let me just see. I mean, yeah, but it's a gap down right to support where it stopped nicely. There's a gap to be closed. I mean, bear flags, I believe, are more like when we have one straight flagpole without the gap, and then some smaller ones, smaller bars afterwards. This to me, I mean, it's always a bit subjective, I guess. But to me, it looks more like a nice bounce setup of the support level, not so much like a bear flag. Okay, great. Okay,
Do we have any
perfect.
time for, sorry, Daniel, do we have
Let's
any
do
time for
two.
another symbol request?
Let's do two more. Yeah, two more
Okay.
quickly.
EBNX.
Yeah,
And
BBNX,
John, I'm putting the email info@tradingindicators.com into the chat.
BBNX, Beta Bionics. Okay, it's also okay. It's just a fairly new stock. Yeah, hard to say. I mean, if there's not much historical data available, technical analysis gets to its limits. Like this one, he had IPO'd back well, earlier this year. Hard to say. Well, technically, we are at resistance here, but of course, very little data to work off from. But overall, if you can leave this resistance level to the upside and break through it, I think it could move higher. But right now, we're right at resistance, so I would probably wait. We also have another gap was filled previously. Yeah. Okay, and then we
Thanks,
have
Daniel. The next
Aqua.
one's, yeah, Oclo Therapeutics, I think.
Okay, Aqua. Yeah, bullish with a pullback right now. Let's see where we are at here. Now we're coming. Yeah, definitely interesting one. We're coming down to this resistance level here at around 85 with this pullback off the all-time, off the highs here. And that was a big move off the high. We lost 49%. So from the highs here, huge move from the highs here, huge move down. We do have this intermediate resistance level here at 85, but if you look a bit further down, the actual key resistance or support, I should say, is around 61. But if you want to take a chart, maybe just scale in, anticipating, yeah, this could continue to the upside after this pullback. We want at 86 and potentially keep scaling in until we reach this support level here at around 49, 59 or 60. Perfect. Okay. Well, guys, uh, and about the gap mastermind, Olga, we haven't had it yet. It's probably going to happening in the last week of November. We are still waiting for the Modern Wave version of Gap IQ to be finalized, and I'll be traveling next week, so I won't be able to do it. So the week after is most likely when we'll have our Gap IQ masterclass. Great. All right, guys. With this, well, thank you guys so much for attending. It's been fun. Let me just quickly show you, which I forgot to mention in the beginning. If you don't have access yet to our great scanner, you can try it out for a full week completely free right now by simply going to tradingindicators.com/view. And Nicholas, please put this link also in the chat real quick. Here you can sign up for a free trial. No contract, no strings attached. You can cancel anytime. And if you, of course, want to stay along, simply sign up for one of the monthly or yearly options. All right. With this, guys, I wish you all a great weekend. And yeah, if you have any questions or if there are any questions which were not answered, simply send us a mail at tradingindicators.com. Go to our homepage, click on support, then on contact, put your question into the contact form, and it will go straight to my inbox. All right, guys. With this, yeah, have a great weekend. Stay safe and talk to you soon. Bye, guys. It's been fun.